Well, good morning and welcome back. It's Thursday. Can you believe it? Thursday edition of A Daily Walk. Listen, friend, if you are enjoying this program, we always tend to say this on Thursday. Listen, send us a comment, send us a link. We'd love to, or not a link, we'll send you the link. You send us a comment and we'll be thankful to hear from you. This helps us to know that you're being encouraged by what we're doing. Again, we're not looking for, pats on the back, attaboys. We just want to know that somebody's watching, that somebody's encouraged, and that you want us to keep going. And when we get those comments, when we hear testimonies of, where you are when you're watching this and how you start your day and what the Lord's spoken to you, and that just fuels us to keep on going, to be consistent and faithful and show up here and put these into in front of you, and it's worth it. So thank you for that. And maybe you want to send a link to someone else and invite them to A Daily Walk, and they can be encouraged also. Well, here we are, chapter by chapter, verse by verse, going through the Word. 1 Corinthians, still in the 10th chapter, picking up in verse 23. Paul writes, "All things are lawful for me, but not all things are helpful. All things are lawful for me, but not all things edify. Let no one seek his own, but each one the other's well-being." We've talked about this before, but there was some problems in the Corinthian church as it related to personal liberty. What I have as a Christian the liberty to do and what I have the liberty not to do. And for some of the Corinthians, there were certain things that they were getting involved with that wasn't necessarily sinful, but it was stumbling to the weaker brothers or sisters. And so Paul was encouraging them, hey, be sensitive to those that you're around, know who you're with, read the room, be aware of who's with you, and you don't want to stumble somebody, so take that into consideration. I think that is an important word. But here he's saying to the Corinthians, listen, all things are lawful, but it doesn't mean they're helpful. All things are lawful, but not everything's going to build me up in my walk with the Lord. Now, that is a very interesting thing, because we would take that back to the Lord, to the Holy Spirit, and say, what in my life is lawful but not helpful? What in my life is lawful and I have the freedom to do it, but it really doesn't build me up? It doesn't really bring me any closer to Jesus. In fact, it kind of distracts me. It kind of pulls me away. It kind of takes me down a rabbit hole. It kind of takes me down a trail that end up in not a good place, spiritually, mentally, whatever that is. Put that before the Lord. Ask the Lord. Here's what I found. When you ask the Lord that question, He will respond. He will speak to you. He will speak to your mind, speak to your heart, open the Word. He'll make it clear. And there may be some things that right now you're doing that, again, you're able to do it, but it's not necessarily helpful. It's not helping you. It's actually, you're getting through it, but it's not really good. You say, well, give me an example. I'll let the Holy Spirit give you an example. You're going to have to ask the Lord. It's different for everybody. Maybe somebody says, I used to go to this particular place. I'm just giving you an example. I'll try. And, I can go there, but you know what I found when I go there? It's just not the best environment. I have the freedom to go there, but I feel like, everybody I'm surrounded by is not in a good space, or they're not believers. And you know what? I don't think I want to go there anymore. I don't find it edifying any longer. I don't find it building me up. Maybe it's a certain group of friends that you've been hanging around. And every time you're with them, it's like you have the liberty to be with them, but every time you're with them, it's not like you get closer to Jesus. They actually kind of pull you away. That wouldn't be helpful. That wouldn't be edifying. And so you make the distinction there. That's what Paul's saying. Ask the Lord. He'll show you. The Lord has shown me things through my life, through the years that, okay, Lord, all right, I hear you. I'm gonna not do that because it doesn't benefit me in any way. For some people, maybe it's the music they listen to. Oh, Pastor John, don't go there. Yeah, maybe it's the music you listen to. I really like rap music, and not that I'm opposed to it. But I like all kinds of music, being a musician myself. But maybe the stuff that you used to listen to, it takes you to a place in your mind, gets you to a spot where, that really isn't good. And not only that, they're using expletives like every other word. How about this? Here's another thing. I said I wasn't going to give examples. I'm giving some. Maybe it's the Lord reminding me. Maybe some of the podcasts you listen to. Oh, people are big time into podcasts. I love podcasts. Podcast. Some people podcast more than they read their Bible. They spend a lot of time on podcasts and very little time in the scriptures. And so they're getting all their information from these well-known podcasters who every other word is the F word. Every other word is something foul, but I really like what he had to say. Yeah, but you're filling your brain with that. Yeah, you got some information about something, but man, is that helpful? Is it edifying? Is it building you up? Now, these are some questions that we need to ask, because these are the things that people are drawn to and attracted to and just, hyped up on, but it doesn't really edify and it's not ultimately helpful. Well, something to pray about, just saying. Here we go. Keep going. Paul says this, verse 25, eat whatever is sold in the meat market, asking no questions for conscience sake. For the earth is the Lord's and all its fullness. And some of us were like, yes, eat meat. What's that about? Hold on. If any of those who do not believe invite you to dinner and you desire to go, eat whatever's set before you. Ask no questions for conscience sake. But if anyone says to you, hey, by the way, this was offered to idols, don't eat it for the sake of the one who told you, for conscience sake, for the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. Oh, you remember that one of the problems was they had this meat that was offered to idols, and so they could buy it in the marketplace for a good price, and they could have a barbecue and have people over. So Paul says, listen, if you're going to buy the meat, just buy the meat. Don't ask, hey, was by any chance was this offered to idols? Just buy the meat. Just buy the meat and cook it and eat it for conscience sake. It's okay. Idol is nothing. The meat is nothing, just before the Lord. However, if you get invited over to somebody's house and you're sitting there and they tell you, hey, I just want you to know before you get into that steak right there, we got it from an idol temple. I'll just have vegetables. Can I have a salad? Pass me the salad. For conscience sake. You don't want to, just don't do it because it's going to ruin your conscience. It's not going to be helpful. So just, don't ask questions, but if it comes up, go ahead and, avoid it. That's what Paul's saying. He's really giving us a balance here. Because the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. Verse 29, conscience, I say to your own. I say not your own, but that of the other. For why is my liberty judged by another man's conscience? That's a good question. But if I partake with thanks, why am I evil spoken of for the food over which I give thanks? Paul's saying, listen, I shouldn't be judged by somebody else's conscience. It shouldn't, somebody else is projecting that on me because that's really something that they're sensitive to. I shouldn't really be judged by somebody else's conscience. But at the same time, I want to be sensitive. I'm going to be aware of where they're at, and I want to partake of it with thanks. I'm not going to, make a big deal out of it. He's basically, what Paul's trying to do here, if I can just sum it up? He's trying to help the Corinthians to be balanced. Sometimes you can go to extremes either way. You can get really legalistic or really into liberty, and you don't find the biblical balance. And it seems to me that Paul in this section is really trying to help the Corinthians, who were often going from one extreme to the other, to be balanced. And I think the best way to find balance is in the scriptures. Helps us in that way. Well, God bless you today and keep you. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. It'll be Friday. Take care.